In this video we're going to show you a little bit about these Alltech amplifiers. These are fairly common. I've seen them up on eBay or different places for sometimes $1 or $2 a piece, and I got a big load of them in. Wondered what in the world they really are, and you know, they can still be used out in the field, but resale value on them is fairly low. So I got a big load of these and decided I'd look for scrap value. Here's what I found. Look for the ones with the regular Phillips, the regular screwdriver, the flat blade screwdriver. Those I found to be older and they have more value in them. I'll show you that in just a second. The ones with the Phillips heads, and it doesn't really seem to matter the number. In my stack I have all of them with the numbers go with the Phillips or the flat, but that seems to be a lot of the difference. I've pulled apart various ones here to show you what's inside of them. Actually, I think that this one on the right and the one on the left are the same part number, but this one on the left is a newer model, and it doesn't have a whole lot of gold reclamation value in it, but it does have a little bit. And I'll show you this little it's probably better if I grab it with the pliers here. It's a little pin that is gold plated, and it was in there as a strapping option, and I found a few of those in there, so I pulled those out. You know, it's always good to have those kinds of things, whatever you can find in there. And of course you can break this apart, take the transformers out and put them into your motors kind of reclamation. Talk to your parts places, your scrap dealers and things, and they'll tell you where's best to put the transformers to try to get the best money out of them. They have copper in them, but they're really not worth your time of trying to cut them apart. They're just too difficult. Larger transformers, sometimes they are. This one here has some gold in it on these pins. It's hard to see in here because of all the solder and everything, but there are gold pins, and I've got one of them laying here that's been pulled out, and you can see some solder on there. And see how we're doing with focus. There is a nice little pin and some other parts. I wanted to show you real quick where these parts came out of, because this came out of actually this rheostat. And let me just pull that apart real quick and show you how to take that apart. Probably can't do that with one hand, but these little sides come off. There's 3 little clips, and I just used a small little pair of pliers or something and just grab hold of that and then twist it, and it comes up really easy if you can just grab hold of it. And this will come out, and inside of it there's this nice little gold plated ring, and then you can see from the back side here where these connectors are that there's gold connectors there, and that's what this piece is. And so you'd want to break that out and get the plastic off of there. And this little silver part, it's not silver but it's aluminum probably, and take just the gold plated stuff and then put that into your gold plated jug for later refining. You're also going to have a lot of scrap metal, you know, the outside cases. The way I found, as you can see, I just exploded out. I take a big pair of wire cutters and just grab hold of this board in here where the screws are, because there's some little tiny funky screws, and just snap it like that. And then, well, I didn't quite get a big enough snap on it, but anyway, that you can see that it just shatters that stuff, and this then will pull apart quite easily once you get that done. And then you just start processing it. In this one you can see there's quite a bit of gold. There's also these big capacitors. I'll show you those in just a second. We've got lots of different parts that aren't resellable, but you can see that there's a lot of these gold-plated locations that the people took a lot of time to put them into, but the only thing for reclamation is just getting them out of there. So you got to just go through with your cutters, cut all the little resistors out, and just dig down in there. Just keep going at it. It only takes a few minutes. Let me show you real quickly on these capacitors. Some of these capacitors have silver value in them, and sometimes you'll find other parts. By the way, there's a nice little gold-plated piece with the long, it's a transistor with the really long wires on it, so that is really nice. And it's got this aluminum around it, so it's still got a little bit of work to do. Probably have to heat that up and pull it apart and get it out of there. You can't just go in. You could chemically melt it down, but you're going to have a lot of excess metal. So I typically put that over into a larger parts bucket like this. You know, that's a piece that needs to be worked with. Anyway, back to the capacitors real quick to wrap this up. Some of them have some silver content in them. Be careful. You should wear gloves when you do that, because there's some electrolyte that sometimes is not very good chemical stuff on it. It's a good idea to do that. You can just slice them open with a knife, use a pair of cutters, and just trim them back. The outside casings are aluminum. Inside, they could be aluminum, but sometimes they're silver. And you can see kind of what that looks like here is just a kind of a tape that comes out. Most of these are aluminum, but I have found a couple that have tested for silver, so I just thought I'd just show you the whole thing right there. Anyway, obviously what you're going after is this gold reclamation stuff right in here, and then you can further clean that down. You can see there's little transistors in there. There's all kinds of little parts and things, and some of that needs to be broken down a little bit further, but that can be done by just taking a pestle or whatever and chopping it down, breaking it into parts, a little bit of pressure applied, and all that'll work great. Anyhow, that's these little Alltech vintage electronic kinds of things. Sometimes these have some resale value. You need to double check and look on different places online, see if you can find somebody that might be willing to buy them. But if not, or if they're only going to be $1 or $2, in my opinion, scrap them. All right. Be sure and get Making Money from Junk, makingmoneyfromjunk.com. It'll tell you where we find all this kind of stuff. People ask me all the time, where do you find this stuff? Well, makingmoneyfromjunk.com will tell you. Thanks a lot. We'll see you real soon.